You said you wanted me to play the piano, didn't you? Hello, welcome to the show. Here we are today in the living room. I think for the second time we've come to the living room, I think. We're doing the entire show from the living room, and the reason for that is two reasons, my darlings. One, because the piano is here. Oh yes, and two, I did sit up in the garden. I got up out of my comfortable little bed just to talk to you for these few precious minutes that we have together 3 times a week. And everything was looking fine. And then just before I was due to commence my recording of this television and radio spectacular for the world, on par to only the Eurovision Song Contest. That's what this programme is. It really is. Me and... oh, there's a fly in here. Can you hear that? Shh. I can hear or is it someone soaring outside? It could be. It could be someone soaring outside. Yes, this programme is on par with the Eurovision Song Contest, and only the only difference being that the Russians spent a lot more on their programme than I do on this. But I am a limited budget, boys and girls. I do what I can, limited budget. And talking Eurovision Song Contest, it is actually Maureen who wrote to me. Just a minute, let me get the email. Just a minute. We've got some more emails coming up from Maureen later on, and she says, a request. To the best of my knowledge, we have never seen you play the piano. Is it the piano or the piano, dear? I have just bought the cheapest model Roland's keyboard. I would love to see you playing and giving beginners like me a few tips. Well, you may well have bought the cheapest model Roland, but the Roland stuff is top notch. Whether it was cheap or not, doesn't matter. You get some beautiful sounds out of those. I did have what I would call a real piano when I was a child. I've got a story behind that, actually. I saw, it was Mum and Dad were very good the way they used to talk me with money and that sort of thing. You want a piano? You'll have to save up for one. Now, we are going back quite a long time here to 1970. And I started saving my money in post office savings stamps. Now, back then, you could buy these stamps, which were 10 pence. That's all they were, 10 pence a stamp. And you would save them in a book. And you would get up to you couldn't cash them in until you had a whole page. And then you could take that page and you get 10 tens on a page. So when you had a page of these stamps, you could take them into the post office and get £1 for them. A whole pound here. Hang on, can I just check something? You know what I'm doing, don't you? I'm checking my recording devices, and I always do because I keep thinking I'm forgetting to turn it on. By the way, those of you watching on YouTube, I know half of my face is quite bright and the other half is dark because I've actually got a light over there when I move later on to the settee. Oh yes! Oh my God, we're actually going to do the programme from a sofa today, or at least some of it, after I've finished playing the piano for you. So you'd save up these stamps. When you had £1, you'd take it in, and there would be 5 pages in a book of these. In a book. So if you saved the whole book, you had £5. So I started saving these, and Mum was ever so good at scanning newspapers for bargains and things like that. And she noticed one day there was a piano for sale for £3. That's how long ago it was. There was an old piano for sale for £3. So my dad made all the arrangements. How much was the piano? £3. And I had that, plus a bit more, saved up in my post office savings stamps. So I said, well, I want to buy that, Dad. And Dad sorted it all out. Dad said, well, if you buy it, I'll pay to have it moved. And it was actually £3 for the piano and £10 to have it moved. But you see, I got the idea then in my head to save up. Not like these people now who borrow money left, right and centre. I've told you before, I'll tell you again, do not borrow money. Yes, do not borrow money because it can lead to death. stress. Don't borrow money. Money, 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 yes. So never borrow money. So I did that, and that's how I ended up with my first piano. And it cost me £3, and that was the only real piano I had. And I used to have piano lessons with a lady called Miss Allen, who died some years ago now. She was a lovely old lady, and she lived on the 3rd floor, I think it was, of a block of flats in Roehampton where we lived. And on a Saturday morning, I think about 11 o'clock, I used to go round to her house and have lessons. I always remember the first lesson I had with her, and that was just before I got a piano. And she came round to our house in Roehampton. I was only a little boy, and we lived in a flat. Roehampton's in southwest London, and she would she bought in this like cardboard cutout keyboard, because at that point I didn't have a piano, and I'd have this cardboard cutout keyboard, and I'd put that on the table and practice my fingering with it, you know, fingers going up and down and doing scales, you know, like. Then you'd have to learn other scale. That's a C scale, and then you do the next one up. And then as you go up, you see you get progressively more black notes. And I'm not very good with black notes. I usually hit a wrong one. Let's see. Oh, not too bad. Will I get there? No, I got the right. See, I told you. I usually, I think, is it A that's got the most black ones? I don't know. And I kind of realised that while I was listening to music, I was usually able to listen and then play. But actually reading from music, I found very, very difficult to do, even now. You could probably put a piece of music in front of me and I'd be able to read the top line fairly easily, and I would get through it. When it comes to chords and things like that, where you've got 1, 2, like 4 notes on a piece of paper, I find that very difficult. I will probably get through the piece of music, whatever it is, but it will take me a very long time, almost like a child learning to read. Okay? So I kind of, unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look like it, I started playing by ear. And Miss Allen used to tell me, you know, if you start playing by ear, it will become very difficult to read music, and that's what happened to me. But yeah, I can listen to music. Let's see if you can recognise a couple of bits. But actually, I can't think what to play now. Let's play something fairly recent. Right, here is a clue. How many tunes can you? How many notes can you name this tune in? Okay. One of my pop idols who I fancy. Any idea? How many notes do you want to name that in? 6? Okay. Oh, I can't remember how it starts now. And here we go. Ready? No, hang on. Oh, I can't remember it now. Oh, I can't remember it. How stupid is that? Oh yes, here we go. Any idea? I'm tearing up my heart. Oh, NSYNC and the gorgeous Justin Timberlake. Here's another one. Here's another one. Young lady pop star who shaved her head. Any ideas? Bliss, bless her heart, dear. Yes, we love her. But I'm a great fan, and I can do some old ones. I don't know. Oh, a bit of classical. What about this? That one? Or what's that one from the Sleeping? Is it Sleeping Blues Beauty? Oh, how's it go? Oh, it's a long time since I played some of these, and we used to. I used to be in a Scout gang show. And now and again, I would play the music for the other young boys to sing. I think I was about 15 or 16 at the time. And one of the songs was called Crest of a Wave. That used to be in the gang shows. And if you've ever been in the Scouts, you should know this one. Wrong notes sometimes. I'm fully aware of that. You don't need to tell me that. I can do London songs and sort of English pub songs like Dad, I love London town. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner. So that's maybe because I'm a Londoner. And I do all different things. I do a little bit of jazz. It's kind of fast jazz, I think. I think this is jazz anyway. So something like that. But my real love, I think, is religious music. I love Catholic hymns. Is that because I've been brought up in that? I don't know. I just love a loud church organ. And, you know, it's something like, what's one of my favourite things? Here we go. But I've got church organ on this, and it's a really nice sounding church organ as well. One of my favourite ones, that's called Hail Redeemer King Divine. And we used to have a Latin Mass I mentioned on a few weeks ago. And some of the tunes for the Latin Mass are really, really very touching and powerful tunes, such as the Credo, which is a long Latin thing. Which comes sort of about a third of the way into a Catholic Mass. And the Credo, it starts like that. And the priest would sing, Credo in unum Deum, and everyone would start singing. Let me turn that down a bit. Do you like it? little bit slower at church, but not much slower than that. And it had the most fantastic Amen right at the end, and it would go like this. Let me go to the end. I can't remember how it goes now. I'll play the end bit, and then I'll sing with you the Amen, and then we'll move over to the sofa for today's emails. Okay? Here we go. Do a long note right at the end. See if you can guess this one, okay? If you're in the UK, you should know this one, right? This is not a hymn, incidentally. This is a song that was very important to the UK just a few months ago. There's your clue. How many are going to name that in? One. Okay, here we go. Well, come on, what is it? Come on, Mr. Cleggery Clogs. What's that one? Here we go. And my time, it's my time, it's my time, my moment, I'm not gonna... One of the things I can't do is sing and play at the same time, which you may then have noticed. So there we are. There's my piano. It's nice, isn't it, eh? Now I'm going to move now over to the sofa. Stay with me. Oh my God, you're going to see everything in the blooming living room now. Now, yeah. Can I just show burglars that it is true. I'm not making it up when I tell you I don't have anything valuable. Okay? There's a nice. Oh, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. Look at me. Looking at you. Looking at me. Looking at you. There is a very expensive plastic carriage clock, which you will actually hear chime while the show's going on today. I have my lovely picture. I've got a picture of Mum, and there's a little statues that were next to her bed. You see, they were. And when Mum died, I collected the statues in the picture, and she's got a gold cross there, and some lilies, some lovely tiger lilies, and oh, smelling delicious. I've got some roses that I picked from the garden. They all sit next to pictures of my Mum. And that's it, really. There's a closed curtain. It is daytime here for me. I've closed the curtain because otherwise the light shines funny. All right, for the video. The piano there, and you know how I am a bit messy. Yes. Well, you know that. I've told you time and time again how messy I am. Well, here is right. There is. 1 minute. There is the table of things. Just a table of many things. There is a cup and a plate from last night and various bits of paper, remote controls, tea towels, all waiting to be put away, really. And they could possibly be there for another 5 or 6 years. Now, let me just adjust things before I sit down on the sofa. I mean, it really is today. Is that going to be all right? Yeah, I think that'll do, won't it? Hang on. Just come down a little bit there. There we are. Take my shoes off. There we are. Very comfortable. Oh yes, this really is today. It's breakfast. Shall I move over a bit? 1 minute. 1 minute now. 1 minute. No, actually, I'll move you round. Stay there. Stay. Don't move. Don't move. I'll be all right, dear. It really is like one of those daytime morning television programmes today, isn't it? Welcome to my living room at last, and I'm so comfortable. You see, I'm thinking of doing this upstairs in the spare room. Eh? Yes, dear. In the spare room where we have a sofa and proper lights and a nice backdrop and some shelving so that I can put little things that you've sent in. All right, so we might do that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little tunes on the piano today. I'm not a pianist at all. I just play for my own fun. I'm certainly not good enough to be a backing pianist or anything like that. But I could play the service in a church, and that's what I like to do. I can hear people criticising at this moment. I can hear people criticising, oh, well, he's not that good. Well, I know I'm not that good, so you don't need to write in, do you? I already know that. Thank you so much. Who is it? Onward. Onward. Now, I left you at the end of the last show with an email from Al, who is here in my hometown, Bracknell. And we were talking about Slough. Do you remember that? I'll give you the... people sometimes say, oh, what's Slough really like? And I've got to be honest, I don't know. I don't go there, okay? It's a little bit too... the only time I will go there is a PC World shop there that I will visit occasionally, just to see what's in. I don't usually buy much from in there, but there's a PC World there and a B&Q, and that's probably the only time I'll go to Slough. I've never actually been to the main shopping areas in Slough. How mad is that? I did buy a car from there, a VW Golf, but that was many years ago now. Oh no, did I buy it from there? No, I used to have it. I had it serviced there a couple of times, but apart from that, there's no reason for me to go to Slough. I don't feel the need. But there is a website about Slough, and it's called www.proudtobeslough, and that's spelt Slough is spelt SLOUGH. Okay, proudtobeslough.co.uk. Now, the email carried on. Thanks very much, Al. He says, you mentioned about me wanting a technical assistant last week. Well, I would like to help if you really want a hand. Mail me back with details of the times you may need me and the salary details. Beg pardon? The postman has arrived. Oh, how disappointing. If he's got a large package, he will knock on the door, but I only heard a few tiny little letters dropping in through that letterbox. How disappointing is that? He says, you pay in sandwiches, crisps and drink, yeah? Yeah, that is correct, yes. We don't have any cash changing hands here, dear. And are they tax deductible items for you? If I pay in sandwiches, crisps and drink? I don't think they are, actually. That would be called, because I have a friend who works in tax, Anthony, my friend Anthony, and that would be called paid in kind. And do you know what? You can be taxed on that. I mean, I'm not quite sure how they do that. If I was to pay someone in sandwiches, crisps and drink, how would the tax man deal with that? Would he say, well, you've got 3 sandwiches, 4 bags of crisps and a couple of cans of Coke. I will have to take from you half of one of your sandwiches and 4.5 crisps. And please send that to the tax office. Is that how it works? It's all a mystery to me, dear. It really is. They like to grab as much as they can, don't they? Oh, it's so evil. Al says, back to Bracknell. I live in Bulbrook, which lies imminently east to the town centre next to the A329. Yes, I know where you are. Chris knows. When I mention Downmarket South Bracknell, I mean where you live, Chris. I beg your pardon. Downmarket South Bracknell? What a cheek, dear. That's a liberty. That's what it is, dear. A liberty. Can you hear my clock going off there? Incidentally, if you're listening to the clock, please can you be assured this bears no resemblance to the time it is where you are, okay? It will just go off, and it will go off another 2 times while we are doing this program. This program which has become a global television phenomenon. I wish I could say it. I wish I could. When I mentioned Downmarket South Bracknell, I mean that's where you live, Chris. You might as well be in Great Hollands like Wayne is in Reading. Beg pardon? Great Hollands? It's all right there. It's only down the road. Got some we got lovely people that live in Great Hollands. They all ride around in the middle of the summer on mini moats on public paths in tracksuit bottoms with their tops off, and the boys walking down with their hands around their trousers all the time, and hats, Burberry hats on. Oh, I mean, I locked myself in the house, dear. It's frightening. Hanworth? I'm in Hanworth. Do you know where I am? Near Birch Hill in Hanworth. Yes. This is the only part of Bracknell you can find expensive hanging baskets, and you can put them up on the house knowing that they won't be stolen. I mean, you've got to put them fairly high up, probably about 20 feet, but then they won't be stolen. You think I'm joking? I've got two. I have actually got two hanging baskets out the front of my house, and they are high up because I did have two nicked once. Someone stole my hang. Oh, here goes the phone. I wonder who it is. Shall I ignore it? Just a minute. Let's see who it is. Hello. Good morning. It's Saturday. It's 11:30 and I'm recording away here. I shall ring later. Au revoir, mon ami, ear-til aujourd'hui. It's Wayne again, Wayne the butler. How many times does he ring on my recording days? My recording days are usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He does it every blooming time, and he knows. Oh, he does it on purpose. Yes, I did have a couple of hanging baskets nicked years ago. It's a liberty, isn't it? So that's why they're quite high up now. Nowhere is unsusceptible to crime, is it? We don't have much of it here. Not in Hanworth. In Hanworth, dear. I beg your pardon. No crime in Hanworth. Well, not much. Well, you know, a couple of plants go missing now and again. I mean, the lady up the road, she lost a cat once. I don't know where that went. I expect someone's eaten it. Dear. He says, P.S. No, it's not me on the mini motos, that's the little motorbikes, ruining the peace. Cross my heart and all that. Maybe you should phone your local police community support officer. Yeah, we need neighbourhood watch. Well, we have neighbourhood watch here as well. Oh yes, we love the twitching curtains are here in Hanworth. We like the neighbourhood watch, don't we? The trouble is, they know everything that's going on. Years ago, when I used to have lots of visitors here, people would say to me the next day, "Oh, you had someone round the other day," and I'd be like, or the other day or night, whatever, and I'd say yes. Oh, were they family? And I'm like, no. And they'd stand there waiting to be told who they were. Nosy people. It's nosy, it is nosy, isn't it, eh? Anyway, onward. Another email here from, oh, hang on a minute. Let's go for one from Terry. Terry's my friend I used to work with at the place where I used to do bingo. He's left now. And he was on the Facebook the other day, and it said that he was really hot because it was one of those hot days, hot nights actually. And he was laying there and couldn't get to sleep and was getting all hot and sticky. So I put on there, well, I says, well, if you came to the Mirable Studios, we are fully air conditioned, you would sleep in peace. And he put a little note on there and it says, it certainly is the high life for Royal Berkshire resident, top DJ and radio and video personality, television spectacular, Mr. Chris Reardon, isn't it? He said, I could gloat to your fellow listeners about how I got to sleep in the Mirable Studios. Sounds amazing, Chris. We have nothing in this house, yes. They have nothing. They have nothing. Where Terry lives, they've got nothing in there. Oh, the perils of being a young lad trying to start off his life. So I did offer to set up the put you up me bed. It's put you up me bed. What's it called? What's that bed? You know, what's one of those bed called that you temporarily put the put you up bed, isn't it? The put you up bed. I did offer to put the put you up bed in the Mirable studio and to drive around because I have two lots of air conditioning, one in the Mirable studio and one in my bedroom. And I sent him a note and said I'll be round in 15 minutes. Pack a bag. I don't know if he packed the bag, but I forgot to pop round on the way. unfortunately. So I still ended up coming at home and having no one to talk to. Sorry, Terry. Did you manage to get to sleep that night, I wonder? Do let us know. Have I said hello yet, by the way? My name is Chris Reardon. I know we're like halfway through the show now. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk, our 3 times a week talk show. The email address, please feel free to join in any time, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Just going back onto the subject of the piano again. Yes, Miss Allen came around the first week I learned, and the first few weeks, and I had this, as I say, I had this like cardboard keyboard that I would put on the table and practice, because you have to do your fingers in, or you're supposed to do your fingers in a certain way. That's how you play the piano. And I learnt like that, and eventually, as I say, I saved up the money, bought the piano. Dad paid for it to be removed. And I always remember one day this massive piano arriving and 2 blokes carrying up the stairs. I don't know how they got it up the stairs, because we were actually on the first floor, but there were 2 lots of stairs, you know, and they were quite steep stairs. And one old bloke, and he's carrying the piano kind of in a cloth. And it was like the scene, you know, that Lauren Hardy film where they carry the piano up the stairs and they drop the piano. We could see that happening, but they got it up there and it sat in the living room. And it sat in the living room from the day I bought it, which I think was around about 1970, until the day that I was emptying the last things out of the house. When Mum died in the year 2000, the piano never moved from that position. I mean, Mum moved it now and again to hoover behind it, but it never moved, and I thought about having it removed here, but only for kind of sentimental reasons. And I inquired at a couple of places, but because, I mean, by the time Mum died, I had moved out of the house quite a number of years before, 92, 91, 90, 89, yeah, 87, 86, 87, I think. I moved out of Mum's house in 1987. And for the last 13 years, it had never been tuned or anything like that. And I did make inquiries at some piano places, you know, how much would it take to bring it all up to scratch? And of course, you know, they say that it depends what's wrong with it. And it was badly out of tune, and it was sounding like one of those old honky-tonk pianos, you know. And she said, well, it sounds like it may have to be restringed and all this business. She said, it's not worth doing. She said, you're better off going out and buying another piano. And she said, had you ever considered an electric piano? And I hadn't, actually. This was in the year, as I say, in the year 2000, just after Mum died. And I said, no, I hadn't. Oh, hang on, is that right? No, sorry. I'd already bought an electric piano, which is the one you heard now. But electric pianos now are not the same as the electric pianos you bought in the 70s and 80s, where they really didn't sound like pianos. Now they actually sound like real pianos, because I've been told what they do is actually record notes from a real piano, so that when you play them, you are in effect playing a recording of a real piano. That's apparently how they do it. So that's what I did. But I thought about bringing the other piano back here, and she said, really, it really isn't worth it. You're better off to just dump it. She said, what is it? So I said, I gave her the name of it, and it was made in Lewisham. I can't remember where. She said, yes. I said, it's got like engravings on the front. It's quite a nice piece of furniture, actually. She said, yeah, but unfortunately there were an awful lot of those made. She says there are a lot in circulation, and it's really not worth doing. So I said, thank you very much, and that was it, really. I then arranged for someone to come up and take it away and dispose of the instrument, which I did. Cost me £75. That in sometime at the end of 2000, may have been the beginning of 2001. I do kind of miss that piano, really, but You know, you've got to be sensible about these things. What's the point in bringing back an instrument that's not going to sound right unless you spend more money? You would actually spend more money bringing that up to scratch than you would be to buy a brand new real Yamaha piano. So it wasn't worth doing. So that's the story of my old piano. All right. On with the emails. It's Maureen again from Spain. Hello, Maureen. She says, hola, hola, Maureen. I wanted to tell you about a discovery I made and ask for your help. We are here to help, Maureen. Sometimes I can't help and we leave it to someone else, and we've always got people here, always people listening and watching to the show who are only too happy to reach out and assist. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Great song by Diana Ross, one of Michael Jackson's, well, he was Michael Jackson's idol, wasn't she? Diana Ross. About 2 years ago, we rented a small apartment while our villa was being modernised. The apartment had seen better days and smelled of tobacco smoke, but it was somewhere to live, had British television, was reasonably comfortable, and was close by our villa. How lovely, we've got a villa in Spain. Oh, do you have central heating in Spain? I wonder. Or do you just not need it at all? Do you need heating in the winter there? I know it gets cold, but it never gets to freezing like it does here in the UK, does it, eh? We had lived in this apartment for about 6 weeks when I noticed that our laundry was looking brighter. The white cloths were whiter, and old stains that had been impossible to get out were gradually disappearing, and the coloured fabrics were maintaining their colour or getting brighter. I couldn't figure out what was going on because I was using the same Spanish washing powder and the same settings on the washing machine as before. But there was a definite difference in the clothes, and they did not seem to need much ironing either. Now you're talking, Maureen. I am all for not doing ironing. I think ironing is the biggest waste of time that people have ever invented. Take my shirt that I'm wearing today, hasn't been ironed in weeks. It really hasn't. One day, the washing machine was on, and was on the wash cycle. I put my hand on the glass part of the door to feel the temperature of the water. The water was cold. I realised then that all my washes in the machine had been on a cold wash. The washing machine was simply not heating the water. Is this the secret? Is this the secret of a clean wash? Perhaps there's something to be learnt here, Maureen. Maybe if we all have cold showers, we will be cleaner than we are with having hot showers. Oh, I hate cold showers. Why do people do that? They plunge themselves into cold showers, don't they? That's awful. Oh, so cold. We don't like cold showers. No, we don't like cold showers. She says, prior to this occurrence, I would not have dreamed of putting my laundry through a cold wash, believing it to be unhygienic and not getting my washing properly clean. Now, I would not dream of putting the laundry through a warm or hot wash. You learn. There we are, the clock again. Will we get another? You might get another. You might get another lot of. I think you'll get another lot of chiming. I'm just looking at the clock. Yeah, you will get one more lot of chiming, okay? And there will be lots of chiming then, because I'm actually recording this show midday. It's just coming up to midday for me. Don't take any notice of that time where you are, because it plays out different times everywhere. She says, there is a downside, however. Oh. My previously lovely, fluffy and soft towels are now getting hard. Oh dear. It's awful having a hard towel. When you try and Dry, Maureen, I know what you mean. With a hard you try and dry your sensitive areas. That's what we're saying, sensitive areas. No need to go into more detail than that, dear. Sensitive areas. And it scratches you to pieces, doesn't it? Oh, it's dreadful. It's like having, remember that toilet paper at school that was like tracing paper? How awful was that? Eh? Oh, that was dreadful, that stuff. I've tried putting less powder in. I've tried using the equivalent in liquid form, but my towels continue to get harder and harder. I have the same problem, actually, with... I'm sticking to the chair. Oh, that was horrible. I have the same problem with handkerchiefs. I get stiff handkerchiefs. Why is that? Stiff handkerchiefs, not quite sure why that is. We have tried to deal with that before, but I have been unsuccessful, and my handkerchiefs continue to get stiff. It's like blowing your nose on a piece of cardboard, it really is. Have you ever tried that? Impossible. Usually when you've blown your nose and it runs down the end of the... Oh, it doesn't matter, there we are. I do not use fabric conditioners, as these make the towels less absorbent, and we really need absorbent tools in our Spanish summer. You're right, ladies. Ladies, it's very, very important to use absorbent towels. We do not want accidents. Absorbency is very, very important in towels, ladies. We know that, my darlings. Stop it. More double meanings on this show than anything else. Has anyone got an answer to this? Here we are. Come on. Maureen España. Hola. She needs our help, boys and girls. Come on. There will be someone out here who will be able to help us with this, Maureen. Please write in and let Maureen know. Email the show. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Has anyone got the answer to this, or do I have to go back to using hot water for the towels and the expensive British laundry tablets that I used to use? I don't have this problem with our clothing and bedding, just the towels. Well, thank God you haven't got the problem with the sheets, dear. Oh, it would be like sleeping on newspaper, wouldn't it? You ever feel sorry for those people who are homeless and have to sleep on cardboard and newspapers? There was actually a programme on the television the other day, and it involved 4 or 6, how many was it now? 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was 4. It involved 4 celebrities who gave up their celebrity lifestyle for a few days and had to live as homeless people live, literally on the streets, and they had all their money taken off them, and they had to beg for money. And it was just awful to find out how people on the streets live, sleeping in doorways. I mean, people must die of hypothermia and that sort of thing. And sometimes you don't realise how lucky you are. Even perhaps if you're watching this show and all you've got is perhaps a poky little room, at least you have somewhere. Some people have nothing. Nothing. And I was saying how homeless people are abused in the streets. And one of the most awful things is being spat on by passers-by, or worse than that, being peed on. It actually happens. Awful, isn't it? And sometimes walking past these people, you do feel a bit sorry for them, and you want to give them some money or something. I never give them money, because unfortunately some of the homeless people are not actually homeless. They are just beggars. There is a big difference here. The trouble is, how do you tell the people who are really homeless and those that are just begging for money? Because there has been stories of this sort of thing where people have been dropped off around areas of London and go begging, and they're collected later on and taken back to their homes with whatever they've collected. So that's the problem. I have on occasion given someone a sandwich or half a sandwich or something, whatever's in my bag. I've done that before, but I've never given money. And they do have centres, special centres all over the country. And I was showing you, and this was the saddest thing of all on this particular programme. There was a centre in Glasgow which was for homeless people, also sometimes referred to as down and outs. Some of them are simply just homeless. Some of them have other problems like alcoholism. There's one particular bloke on this show who was homeless and alcoholic, and he looked so old, and they were filming him with this can of lager, and it was shaking. It was like shaking like that as he was taking this can of lager to his mouth, and he looked like he was deaf. He had a little earpiece in. Looked like he actually looked clean. Didn't look like he was dirty, but hadn't had his hair cut for ages, had all growth around his mouth and all that. And was smoking away. And there was another bloke who... And they all had different ways of trying to make money, whether it was literally just sitting outside on the pavement with their hands open, waiting for people to put money in their hands, or one bloke, he found a way, one of the blokes in London, he found a way of making money was to stand on Westminster Bridge, which is by Big Ben, our famous clock in Westminster in the centre of London, and he would stand there, and if he saw people trying to take pictures of each other, like when you hold out the camera in front of you, he would go up to them and he says, "Oh, can I take a picture for you? I'll do that for you." And he'd take the picture and said, "There you go, thanks very much. Can I trouble you for the price of a cup of coffee?" And he'd get £1 for that. And at the end of the day, I think he'd collected a few quid, and he was actually able to go into the pub, which is good. At least he's found a way of making money there, which is quite good. And as I say, various people with different problems and varying levels of, what would you call it? Varying levels of homelessness, I suppose you would say, or unhappiness in their lives, or problems. Some had lots of problems. Drug addicts, of course, there were a few drug addicts. There was one bloke who'd been a drug addict for many years, and had come off the heroin. I was trying to get off the heroin so hard. He was homeless too, living in doorways and empty houses he would sleep in. And he was doing his best to try and get better to see his daughter, because he'd hardly ever seen his daughter. And he was doing it for his daughter, and it's just so sad. But the saddest bit of all of it, of the whole show, and it's bringing a tear to my eye now, was going back to this place in Glasgow where they have a centre for the home and outs. And they took the celebrity, he says, "I want to show you one more thing." And he took them to this graveyard. And he said, "We have some plots here. This is where the people who die end up." He said, "We've got various plots. We get 6 bodies to a plot. And they're usually unmarked graves. No one wanted to know these people. And no one still does. And they end up buried in an unmarked grave which just looked a bit like a field, with bits of grass cut out, obviously, where people's bodies are. And it was just so sad. Really, really sad. I don't know if anyone saw that programme. You know, how does one help these people? Some of them don't want to be helped, do they? That's how they want to live. They want to live on the street. I'll just drop my pen down the side of the settee. Just a minute. Do you give money to homeless people when you're out in the street? And we've seen it before when you do walk past homeless people, which you will probably come across if you come to London. You'll see them sleeping in doorways. Do you give to homeless people where you are? Do you see many in, for example, where you live? Where are you, and do you see many homeless people? Do you give them money? Or do you pop into the local sandwich place or burger place and get an extra burger and give it to them as you walk past? Have you ever seen people stand there and laugh at them? Let us know if you've got any stories on that one, okay? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. That's my email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Back to Maureen's email then. How is she going to get over the problem of stiff towels? All right, that's what we want to know. She says, I've just seen your 2nd of July video filmed in your garden. I do love the videos you do from the garden, despite the noise from the aircraft. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. But I think it kind of adds to the whole show. Do you not think? When you hear aeroplanes and birds, I love the birds singing. I've also got little frogs in my garden. Did I mention that? They're hiding behind some of the bushes, and they must be coming from... The neighbour's got a lovely pond I mentioned a while ago. Although, you know, there is a fence in between. I'm not quite sure how the frogs are getting right over from one side of the garden to the other. They must move at night along with the snails and the slugs. Well, that's the point. They won't be killed by those things I'm putting down, will they? For the slugs, I don't know. She says, I think I will miss your shed if you pull it down, as I love looking at the hanging baskets. If your shed has a concrete base, then it's going to be a big job getting rid of it. Yes, no, I don't think it does have a concrete base, Maureen. I'm not sure, to be honest. But as far as I can see, it's all wooden down there. Okay? Yes, and don't you worry about the hanging baskets, my darling. Because if I do move remove the shed, then the hanging baskets can always be put on the fence, okay? Now, I've got one more email here, and then I think we're up to date with all the emails, which we haven't been for a while. The only thing is, I'm not sure if I've already read this over here. I think I have. Have I read out... This is from Maureen. Have I read out the email about the land grab issue in Spain? Oh, dear me, I can't remember. How stupid am I? Oh, look, let's do it again, shall we? You see, the problem is sometimes I accidentally print off the emails twice and then I can't remember what I've done and what I haven't. Anyway, we were talking about land grab in Spain. This is an issue that I've seen on quite a few television programmes. And she says, regarding the land grab issue which you asked about, I know there are still a lot of people, British and Spanish and people from other countries, still fighting for their properties over the land grab issue. But I don't think there will be any new problems regarding land grab because the EU is threatening to withdraw the grants that Spain receives from the EU. And believe me, that is mucho dinero we are talking about. Yeah, they got a lot of money for that. To try and ensure we wouldn't have the same problem with land grab, we opted for a house on an urbanisation housing estate which was long established and already built, which had its own infrastructure, drains, sewers and electricity and portable drinkable water, street lighting and good roads, for which the council had assumed responsibility for the maintenance of roads, paths and sewers. There goes the clock again. Do you like the clock? So far in the 2 years we have lived here, there has not been a hint of a problem from the authorities, apart from that is having to pay utility bills, which we all have to do. Okay, unfortunately, many Brits come over here and let the sunshine rot their common sense. In the UK, they would not dream of buying a house without planning permission and without using a solicitor, but in many cases they have just done that here. In other cases, some Brits have taken all the necessary actions, hired the solicitor, got all the authorities to go ahead, but the paperwork issued by town halls was not genuine and it was issued by corrupt officials. Terrible, I know, but all public bodies everywhere are susceptible to corruption. Just look at the United Kingdom Parliament. Yes, we know about that, dear. And that is worse because the stock answer from the MPs, we've done nothing wrong. They're liars. But every penny they have taken to enhance their lifestyles is a penny that the poor and needy have had to do without, which is so true. Yeah, listen, we've run out of time. The other half of that email, I'm assuming I haven't read it out, although I might have had on the next show, okay? Join in by email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Time for me to go. Thanks for watching and listening to the show today. I'll see you on the next one. From myself, Chris Reardon. Bye-bye.